You wake up at 5:30 in the morning. The alarm hasn't even finished ringing, but your mind is already racing. Emails to send, deadlines to meet, goals to crush, dreams to chase. There's a voice inside your head whispering, "You're not doing enough. You're falling behind. Everyone else is ahead." You skip breakfast. You multitask through lunch. You work late into the night, scrolling through social media, comparing your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20. And just before you fall asleep, exhausted, drained, burnt out, you tell yourself, tomorrow I'll do more. But here's the truth. Tomorrow never comes because you're stuck in a cycle that tells you that success demands everything, that greatness requires sacrifice, that rest is for the weak. That 1 hour a day, that's not enough. That's laughable. That's settling for mediocrity. But what if I told you that everything you've been taught about productivity, success, and achievement is a lie? What if I told you that the key to real, sustainable, meaningful success isn't working harder, longer, or faster, but working smarter, calmer, and more intentionally? Welcome to Ladder Up English, where we don't just read books, we live them, we breathe them, and turn them into tools for transformation. And today, we're diving deep into a book that will challenge everything you thought you knew about time, effort, and success. The book is called 1 Hour a Day is Enough, and it's not just a productivity guide, it's a revolution. It's a permission slip to stop chasing burnout and start building a life that matters. In the next hour, we're going to walk through the core principles of this book, unpack real-life stories, share actionable strategies, and by the end, you'll have a blueprint to reclaim your time, your energy, and your life 1 hour at a time. So grab your coffee, get comfortable, and let's begin this journey together. Because here at Ladder Up English, we believe that growth doesn't require grinding. It requires intention, and sometimes 1 hour a day, that's more than enough. Part 2, the lie we've all been sold, the myth of more is better. Let's start with a story. Meet Arjun. He's 28 years old, works at a tech startup, and he's ambitious. He wants to build a side business, learn graphic design, get fit, read more books, and maybe even start a YouTube channel. He's got big dreams, and he's been told that to achieve them, he needs to hustle harder than everyone else. So Arjun starts waking up at 5 a.m. He works out for an hour, works on his startup for 2 hours before his day job, puts in 8 hours at the office, then spends his evenings learning design, reading, and planning content. He's productive, right? He's winning, right? Wrong. 3 months later, Arjun is burnt out. His startup hasn't launched, his body aches, he hasn't finished a single book, and worst of all, he feels like a failure. Because despite giving everything, he's achieved nothing. Sound familiar? This is the lie we've all been sold. The myth of more is better. The belief that success is directly proportional to hours worked. That if you're not exhausted, you're not trying hard enough. That rest is laziness. That balance is a luxury. And this myth, it's everywhere. It's in the Instagram posts of entrepreneurs bragging about their 16-hour workdays. It's in the movies that glorify sleepless nights and coffee-fueled marathons. It's in the advice of well-meaning parents, teachers, and mentors who say, if you want to be the best, you have to outwork everyone else. But here's what they don't tell you. More effort doesn't equal more results. In fact, research in neuroscience, psychology, and productivity science shows the exact opposite. When you overwork, your brain fatigues, your creativity dies, your decision-making deteriorates. You become less productive, not more. The book 1 Hour a Day is Enough dismantles this toxic myth and replaces it with a radically simple truth. Consistency beats intensity. Focused action beats frantic effort. And 1 intentional hour a day can create more transformation than 10 distracted, exhausted hours ever will. Think about it. What if Arjun, instead of trying to do everything, focused on just one thing for 1 hour a day? What if he dedicated 60 minutes, just 60 minutes, to his startup every single day without distraction, without multitasking, without guilt? In a year, that's 365 hours. That's over 45 full workdays. That's enough to build a product, launch a service, write a book, master a skill. But because we've been conditioned to believe that 1 hour isn't enough, we try to do 10 things at once, burn out in 3 months, and quit. The book argues that the problem isn't lack of time, it's lack of clarity, focus, and intentionality. And once you understand that, everything changes. Actionable takeaway. Ask yourself, what is the one thing I want to achieve in the next 6 months? Write it down. Now, commit to spending 1 focused, distraction-free hour on it every day. Not 2, not 5, just 1. Watch what happens. Part 3. The science of 1 hour. Why less can be more. Now, you might be thinking, okay, this sounds nice in theory, but can 1 hour a day really be enough? I have so much to do. I get it, and that's exactly why we need to talk about the science. Let me introduce you to a concept called the law of diminishing returns. It's an economic principle, but it applies perfectly to productivity. The idea is simple. The more time you invest in a task, the less value each additional hour provides. Imagine you're studying for an exam. The first hour, you're sharp, focused, absorbing information. The second hour, still good, but a little slower. The third hour, you're rereading the same sentence 5 times. By the 4th or 5th hour, your brain is fried. You're retaining almost nothing. This is the law in action. And it doesn't just apply to studying. It applies to work, creativity, exercise, relationships, everything. The book 1 Hour a Day is Enough cites research from cognitive psychology showing that the human brain can sustain deep focus for approximately 90 to 120 minutes at a time. After that, concentration drops dramatically. This is why the most productive people in the world don't work longer, they work in focus sprints. Let's talk about Cal Newport, author of Deep Work. He doesn't work 12-hour days. He works in blocks of deep, undistracted focus, usually no more than 4 hours total per day. And yet, he's published multiple best-selling books, maintains a successful academic career, and has a balanced personal life. Or consider Stephen King, one of the most prolific writers of all time. He writes for about 4 hours a day. Not 10, not 12, 4. And in those 4 hours, he produces a consistent 2,000 words every single day. That's how he's written over 60 novels. The pattern is clear. Elite performers don't maximize hours, they maximize focus. And here's the beautiful part. You don't even need 4 hours. The book argues that 1 hour of truly focused, intentional work is enough to make meaningful progress if you do it consistently. Let's break down what happens in 1 focused hour. Minutes 1 to 10, you settle in. Your brain transitions from reactive mode, emails, notifications, distractions, to proactive mode, deep work. Minutes 10 to 50, this is the golden zone. Your brain is fully engaged. Ideas flow. Progress happens. Minutes 50 to 60, you wrap up, reflect, and plan the next session. That's it. That's the formula. And when you repeat it daily, the compound effect is staggering. Think about learning a language. 1 hour a day for a year, you'll be conversational. Learning an instrument, 1 hour a day for a year, you'll be able to play your favorite songs. Building a business, 1 hour a day for a year, you'll have a functioning product and real customers. The book emphasizes that the magic isn't in the hour itself. It's in the repetition. It's in showing up day after day, even when you don't feel like it, especially when you don't feel like it. Because here's the secret that no one talks about. Motivation is overrated. Discipline is underrated. You won't always feel motivated. Some days you'll be tired. Some days you'll be stressed. Some days life will throw curveballs. But if you've committed to your 1 hour, you show up anyway. Not perfectly, not with fireworks and inspiration, but consistently. And consistency? That's where transformation lives. Actionable takeaway. Set a timer for 1 hour. During that hour, work on your one priority. No phone, no email, no social media, just you and the task. Do this every day for 30 days. Track your progress. You'll be shocked at what you accomplish. Part 4. The enemy of focus. Distraction, multitasking, and the illusion of busyness. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. Distraction. Because here's the hard truth. Even if you carve out 1 hour a day, it won't matter if that hour is fragmented, interrupted, and diluted by distractions. Imagine this. You sit down to work. You open your laptop. You start. Then, ping, a notification. You check it. It's just a message. You reply. You return to your work. 2 minutes later, bling, another notification. An email. You read it. You respond. You try to refocus. But now your brain is scattered. This is called attention residue, and it's a concept introduced by researcher Sophie Leroy. The idea is that when you switch tasks, a part of your attention stays stuck on the previous task. Your brain doesn't switch instantly, it lingers. And every interruption, every notification, every distraction creates residue that makes it harder to focus. The book 1 Hour a Day is Enough dedicates an entire chapter to this, calling it the silent killer of productivity, and the stats are alarming. A study from the University of California found that it takes an average of 23 minutes and 15 seconds to fully regain focus after an interruption. Think about that. If you're interrupted 5 times in an hour, you're not working for 60 minutes. You're working maybe 10? But here's the kicker. Most of us don't even realize we're distracted. We think we're multitasking. We think we're being efficient. We think that checking emails while working on a project is productive. But multitasking is a myth. Neuroscience shows that the brain can't actually focus on 2 things at once. What we call multitasking is really just rapid task switching, and every switch costs us time, energy, and quality. Let me tell you about Priya. She's a graphic designer. She used to pride herself on being a multitasker. She'd work on client projects while responding to emails, taking calls, and scrolling through design inspiration on Instagram. She felt busy, she felt productive, but at the end of the day, she'd look at her work and realize she hadn't actually finished anything. Then she read this book, and she made one change. She decided to dedicate 1 hour every morning, just 1 hour, to pure, uninterrupted design work. No email, no phone, no social media, just you and the task. And the result? She finished projects faster. Her work improved. Her clients noticed. And ironically, by working less, she achieved more. This is the paradox at the heart of the book. By doing less, but doing it with full focus, you achieve exponentially more than by doing many things poorly. The book offers a framework called the 1 hour sanctuary. Here's how it works. 1. Choose your hour. Pick a time when your energy is highest. For most people, that's the morning. 2. Eliminate distractions. Phone on airplane mode, email closed, door shut. Tell people you're unavailable. 3. Work on one thing. Not 2, not 3, 1. 4. Protect the hour like your life depends on it, because in many ways it does. This isn't just about productivity. It's about reclaiming your attention, your focus, your mental clarity. In a world that profits from your distraction, choosing to focus is an act of rebellion. Actionable takeaway? Identify your biggest distraction. Is it your phone, social media, email? For your next 1 hour work session, eliminate it completely.
Notice the difference, then make it a habit. Part 5. The power of micro-progress. Small steps, giant leaps. Here's a question. What's the smallest action you can take today that will move you forward? Not the biggest, not the most impressive, the smallest. This is the principle of micro-progress, and it's one of the most profound ideas in the book, 1 Hour a Day is Enough. We live in a culture obsessed with grand transformations. We want to lose 20 pounds in a month, launch a business in a week, write a book in 30 days. We want the before and after, the glow up, the viral success story. But real life doesn't work that way. Real transformation happens slowly, quietly, in tiny, incremental steps that most people never see. The book introduces the concept of the 1% rule. It's based on the idea that if you improve by just 1% every day, by the end of the year, you'll be 37 times better. Let that sink in. Not twice as good, not 10 times, 37 times. This is the power of compound growth, and it applies to everything. Want to get fit? You don't need to work out for 2 hours. Start with 10 minutes, then 15, then 20, one small step at a time. Want to learn a new skill? You don't need to binge tutorials for 8 hours. Spend 1 focused hour a day. In 3 months, you'll be competent. In a year, you'll be skilled. Want to build a business? You don't need to quit your job and go all in tomorrow. Start with 1 hour a day. Build your product. Find your first customer. Test your idea. And when it's ready, then scale. The book shares the story of James Clear, author of Atomic Habits. Before he became a best-selling author, he committed to publishing 1 article every Monday and Thursday. Just 2 articles a week. That's it. No viral moments, no overnight success, just consistent micro-progress. And over time, those articles built an audience. That audience became a community. That community bought his book, and that book has now sold over 15 million copies worldwide. All because he didn't try to do everything at once. He focused on small, consistent actions, 1 hour at a time. The book calls this the slow success principle. It's the understanding that meaningful progress doesn't happen in bursts of intense effort. It happens in the quiet, unglamorous, daily repetition of showing up. And here's the beautiful part. Micro-progress feels sustainable. When you tell yourself, I just need to do 1 hour, it doesn't feel overwhelming. It feels doable. And because it feels doable, you actually do it. And because you do it, you build momentum. And momentum, that's everything. Think about a rocket launch. The hardest part isn't when the rocket is soaring through space. It's the initial liftoff. Breaking free from gravity requires enormous energy. But once it's in motion, it takes far less energy to keep going. The same is true for your goals. The hardest part is starting. But once you've built the habit of your 1 hour, it becomes automatic. It becomes part of who you are.
Actionable takeaway. Choose 1 micro action you can take today toward your goal. Not a big action, a small one. Write 1 paragraph, do 10 push-ups, make 1 sales call. Then do it again tomorrow and the next day. Track your streak. Celebrate your consistency. Part 6. The art of saying no. Protecting your 1 hour. Now, here's where things get real. Because once you commit to your 1 hour, the world will test you. People will need favors. Meetings will pop up. Emergencies will arise. And every time you'll face a choice. Protect your hour or give it away. The book 1 Hour a Day is Enough dedicates an entire section to this, calling it the battle for your time. And it frames it as exactly that, a battle. Because in today's world, your time is the most valuable resource you have, and everyone wants a piece of it. Your boss wants your time, your family wants your time, social media wants your time, Netflix wants your time. And if you're not intentional about protecting it, it will slip away and you'll wonder where it went. The book introduces a concept called the priority filter. It's a simple framework to help you decide what deserves your time and what doesn't. Here's how it works. Before you say yes to anything, ask yourself 3 questions. 1. Does this align with my 1 priority? If not, it's a distraction.
2. Is this urgent or just loud? Many things feel urgent but aren't. They're just loud. 3. What am I giving up by saying yes? Every yes is a no to something else. Make sure the trade is worth it. This framework is powerful because it forces clarity. It forces you to confront the fact that you can't do everything, and that's okay. In fact, it's necessary. The book shares the story of Warren Buffett. He once told his pilot to write down his top 25 career goals. Then he told him to circle the top 5. The pilot assumed Buffett would tell him to focus on the top 5 and work on the other 20 when he had time. But Buffett said the opposite. He said, everything you didn't circle just became your avoid at all costs list. These things will distract you from what truly matters. That's the art of saying no. It's not about being rude. It's not about being selfish. It's about being strategic. It's about understanding that every time you say yes to something that doesn't matter, you're saying no to something that does. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Most people struggle with this because they're afraid. Afraid of disappointing others, afraid of missing out, afraid of being judged. But the book argues that the only thing you should truly fear is looking back and realizing you spent your life on things that didn't matter. Let me tell you about Samantha. She's a writer, and for years she struggled to finish her novel. Not because she lacked talent or ideas, but because she couldn't say no. A friend needed help moving. Yes. A colleague needed someone to cover a shift. Yes. A family member wanted her to attend a 3-hour dinner. Yes. She was kind. She was helpful. She was generous. But she wasn't writing. Then she read this book, and she made a decision. Her 1 hour every morning was sacred, non-negotiable, off limits. At first, people didn't understand. Some were offended. But over time, they respected it. And more importantly, she finished her novel. Because here's the truth. People will respect your time once you respect it first. The book emphasizes that saying no isn't selfish, it's self-preservation. It's how you protect your dreams, your energy, and your 1 hour. Actionable takeaway. This week, practice saying no to at least one request that doesn't align with your priority. It will feel uncomfortable. Do it anyway. Notice how much time and energy you regain. Part 7. The mindset shift from I don't have time to I make time. Let's talk about the biggest excuse we all make. I don't have time. How many times have you said that? How many times have you wanted to learn something, build something, create something, but you told yourself, I just don't have time? The book 1 hour a day is enough calls this the great illusion. Because here's the truth. You do have time. You just don't have priorities. Harsh? Maybe. But let me explain. The average person spends over 2 hours a day on social media. 2 hours. That's 14 hours a week. That's over 700 hours a year. That's enough time to learn a language, write a book, build a business, master a skill. But we say we don't have time. The average person watches 3 hours of TV a day. 3 hours. That's 21 hours a week. Over 1,000 hours a year. But we say we don't have time. I'm not saying you should never relax. I'm not saying you should never scroll or watch TV. Rest is important. Downtime is necessary. But the book challenges you to be honest with yourself. If you had 1 hour to save your life, would you find it? Of course you would. The problem isn't lack of time, it's lack of clarity. It's lack of intention. It's lack of belief that what you want to do actually matters. The book introduces a powerful mindset shift. Stop saying, I don't have time, and start saying, this isn't a priority right now. Try it. The next time you catch yourself saying, I don't have time to work out, rephrase it, working out isn't a priority for me right now. Feels different, doesn't it? Suddenly, it's not about time, it's about choice. And when you realize it's a choice, you take ownership. You stop being a victim of circumstances and start being the architect of your life. The book shares a story about a CEO named Mark. He ran a multi-million-dollar company, traveled constantly, had a family, and still found time to train for marathons. When someone asked him, how do you find a time? He replied, I don't find time. I make time, because if it matters, it's a priority. And if it's a priority, I schedule it. That's the shift. From hoping you'll find time to deciding you'll make time. And when you make that shift, everything changes. You stop waiting for the perfect moment. You stop waiting for motivation. You stop waiting for permission. You just start. Because here's the secret. There will never be a perfect time. There will always be something else. Something urgent, something loud, something easier. But if you wait for perfect, you'll wait forever.
The book argues that the most successful people aren't the ones with the most time. They're the ones who protect their time, prioritize ruthlessly, and show up consistently, even when it's inconvenient. And the beautiful part? Once you start, once you commit to your 1 hour, once you see the progress, it becomes addictive, not in a toxic burnout way, but in a healthy, empowering way. You start to crave that hour. You start to protect it because you realize it's not just an hour of work. It's an hour of self-respect, an hour of growth, an hour of becoming who you're meant to be. Actionable takeaway. Audit your time for 1 week. Track how you spend every hour. Then ask yourself, if I replaced 1 hour of scrolling, TV, or distractions with focused work, what could I achieve? The answer might surprise you. Part 8. The long game. Patience, persistence, and the compound effect. Let's talk about something nobody wants to hear. Success takes time. I know, in a world of overnight influencers, viral videos, and instant gratification, that's not sexy. That's not exciting. That's not the highlight reel. But it's the truth. The book 1 Hour a Day is Enough dedicates an entire chapter to what it calls the long game, the understanding that real, lasting success isn't built in days or weeks. It's built in years. And that's okay. In fact, it's better than okay. It's liberating. Because when you accept that success is a marathon, not a sprint, you stop rushing. You stop panicking. You stop comparing your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20. You just keep going. Let me tell you about Akira. He wanted to become a professional guitarist. He started practicing 1 hour a day when he was 15. He wasn't a prodigy. He wasn't exceptionally talented. He was just consistent. By 16, he could play a few songs. By 18, he was performing at local cafes. By 21, he had a YouTube channel with a small but loyal following. By 25, he was touring. 10 years, 1 hour a day. That's it. No shortcuts, no hacks, no overnight success. Just patience, persistence, and the compound effect. The compound effect is one of the most powerful forces in the universe, and it applies to everything. Money, health, skills, relationships. The idea is simple. Small actions repeated consistently over time lead to exponential results. Think about it like this. If you invest $100 a month at 7% interest, in 10 years, you'll have around $17,000. In 20 years, over $50,000. In 30 years, over $120,000. That's the compound effect. The same principle applies to your 1 hour. If you write for 1 hour a day, in a year, you'll have a book. If you code for 1 hour a day, in a year, you'll have a working app. If you learn for 1 hour a day, in a year, you'll have a new skill. But here's the catch. You won't see results immediately. In fact, for the first few weeks, maybe even months, it will feel like nothing is happening. This is what the book calls the valley of disappointment. It's the phase where you're putting in the work, but you're not seeing the results. And it's where most people quit. They say, see, I told you 1 hour a day isn't enough. I've been doing this for a month and nothing has changed. But that's like planting a seed and expecting a tree the next day. It doesn't work that way. The book uses a powerful metaphor, the bamboo tree. When you plant a Chinese bamboo tree, you water it, nurture it, care for it, and for 5 years, you see nothing. No sprout, no growth, nothing. But in the 5th year, it grows 90 feet in 6 weeks. Did it grow in 6 weeks, or did it grow over 5 years underground, building a root system strong enough to support rapid growth? That's the long game. Your 1 hour isn't just about the visible progress. It's about the invisible roots, the discipline, the habits, the identity shift that will support everything you built. The book emphasizes that patience is the secret weapon of the successful. Not talent, not luck, patience. Because anyone can work hard for a week. Anyone can stay motivated for a month. But to show up day after day for years without seeing immediate results, that takes patience. And that's what separates those who succeed from those who give up. Actionable takeaway. Commit to your 1 hour for 90 days. No exceptions. Don't judge the results. Just track the consistency. At the end, reflect on how far you've come. You'll be amazed. Part 9. The grand conclusion. 1 hour, 1 life, 1 legacy. So here we are, at the end of this journey. But really, it's just the beginning. Because the question isn't whether 1 hour a day is enough. The question is, what will you do with your 1 hour? Let's be honest. Life is short. You've heard that before. But do you feel it? We're not promised tomorrow. We're not promised next year. We're given today. And what we do with today, how we spend our time, where we focus our energy, what we prioritize, that's what shapes our lives. The book 1 hour a day is enough isn't just about productivity. It's about intentionality. It's about living a life that matters. It's about rejecting the toxic hustle culture that glorifies burnout and embracing a new way, a slower, more focused, more sustainable way. It's about understanding that success isn't about doing more. It's about doing what matters. And here's what matters: showing up. Showing up for your dreams, showing up for your growth, showing up for yourself. Not perfectly, not always motivated, but consistently. Because 1 hour a day compounded over time doesn't just build skills or projects or businesses, it builds identity. It transforms who you are. Think about it. If you write for 1 hour a day, you're not just writing, you're becoming a writer. If you work out for 1 hour a day, you're not just exercising, you're becoming an athlete. If you build for 1 hour a day, you're not just working, you're becoming a creator. Your actions define your identity, and your identity shapes your future. The book ends with a powerful challenge. What do you want to be known for? Not what do you want to achieve, not what do you want to have, but who do you want to become? Because at the end of your life, no one will ask how many hours you worked. They'll ask what you built, what you created, what you left behind. And the beautiful, empowering, and life-changing truth is this: you don't need more time to leave a legacy. You just need to use the time you have, wisely, intentionally, and consistently. 1 hour a day is enough to write a book that inspires millions. 1 hour a day is enough to build a business that changes lives. 1 hour a day is enough to master a skill that opens doors. 1 hour a day is enough to transform your health, your mindset, your future. 1 hour a day is enough if you make it count. So here's my challenge to you, the incredible community of Ladder Up English. Starting today, commit to your 1 hour. Choose your priority, eliminate distractions, show up, and do it again tomorrow, and the day after that, and the day after that. Don't wait for motivation. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't wait for permission.
Just start.
Because the world needs what you're here to create. The world needs your art, your ideas, your voice. And the only way it will see them is if you give yourself the time, the 1 hour, to bring them to life. So what will it be? Will you keep saying, I don't have time? Or will you make time? Will you keep waiting for someday? Or will you start today? The choice is yours. The power is yours. The 1 hour is yours. Use it. Thank you so much for spending this time with me here on Ladder Up English. If this video inspired you, if it challenged you, if it gave you even one idea that you can apply to your life, do me a favor. Hit that like button, drop a comment below, and tell me, what will you dedicate your 1 hour to? I read every single comment, and I'd love to hear your story. And if you're serious about personal growth, about mastering English, about leveling up your life, subscribe to Ladder Up English, because we're not just reading books here, we're building better versions of ourselves, together, 1 hour at a time. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it, someone who's burnt out, someone who's overwhelmed, someone who thinks they don't have time. Because they do, and so do you. Until next time, keep climbing, keep growing, keep showing up. This is Ladder Up English, where we don't just learn, we transform. See you in the next one.